Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new movie franchise ranking here on Max Talk Movies. And today I'm going to break down and rank all four of the John Wick films. I just watched them for the first time a couple weeks ago, leading into going to see John Wick Chapter 4 in theaters. And I know it's based on my schedule. It took this long for this video to come out, but I am going to do a breakdown here. My ranking of the top four, obviously the four John Wick films. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and do other movie franchise rankings, including also other movie reviews, TV show reviews, and box office breakdown show weekly. So please subscribe, ring the bell. If you're new to the channel, comment down below what is your ranking of the John Wick franchise. Because we are over a week into John Wick Chapter 4, this will be a full spoiler review. My spoiler thoughts on John Wick Chapter 4 when I get to that movie, and also all the other films for the most part. So what are your thoughts on this franchise? Do you like it, not like it? Do you want to see more John Wick, like a John Wick 5? Are you okay with us going in the direction of a Continental and a ballerina movie? Let me know as well. And also, please like the video, guys. The thumbs up button, that's how you support this channel. It helps the algorithm out so more people can check out this video. So let's get into our ranking, and we're going to start with the number 2 movie. So number 4 movie on this list, which is for me, easily John Wick Chapter 2. Now, this is for me, the most consistent action franchise maybe ever with these 4 movies. So for me, this is a good movie, not a great movie. And when this is the worst movie of your franchise, you're doing something right. So John Wick Chapter 2, I think, does a lot of things really good in this movie. And the first one is really the world building of the Continental, the rules and regulations of being an assassin in this world. That all comes to the forefront in this movie. The first movie is a very much focused on quick, you in and you're out movie of a revenge story. And this movie obviously adds to that, but John Wick is clearly, this is all about the exploration and the mythology of the John Wick world, which is why you can get a spin-off movie and a spin-off TV show, especially a spin-off TV show on the Continental itself. So all of that aspect of this movie was great. Of course, all of the action scenes were great. But for me, there's just, and I think the only like memorable action scene I think I can remember in this movie was kind of that opening car chase. That is a great action scene. It's easily, for me, my favorite of the movie. While the villain of that opening action scene is very much cheesy, they get to the point because the action in the actual movie does work. Of course, the whole cast, this is our first time we get Lawrence Fishburne into the fray. I also thought Ruby Rose was a perfect person to have in this movie as well. Oh, she's very controversial. I haven't really seen her in anything. She was actually used probably as well as you could probably use Ruby Rose in this type of movie. But overall, for me, and also when they go through like the guns and they go through the different people, when John Wick needs these guns and needs a suit, that was all very compelling in this movie as well. But for me, what really holds us back from the other films is that this movie heavily relies on the villain being compelling in this movie. Santino D'Antonio, played by Riccardo Scaramaccio, who, again, I have not seen in anything else. And I just don't think the actor had the charisma, and the script didn't give it enough into it to make it a compelling villain. Now, yes, the ending of this movie sets up the greatness that the next 2 movies have in it, which is John Wick being on the run, because obviously at the end of this movie, John kills Santino in the Continental. Excommunicado, he becomes at the end of this movie. But for me, the whole back and forth of this John and the villain just did not work for me at all when watching John Wick Chapter 2. And I think it really knocks it down a huge peg from the rest of the 3 films. I think this was a compelling, charismatic lead actor possibly playing the villain, or not even a lead actor, just a compelling actor, or compelling performance, or just a compelling, better written character. I think this movie could be honestly number 1 in this franchise, but I think the villain really drags it down for me. Moving into number 3, now this is one the next 3, I just have such a hard time. I think any day I could pick this one as my either second or third, or even sometimes first. And that for me is number 3 on this list is John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Now, the thing that I love about this movie is that John is literally on the run from the moment the movie starts. Now, some people think they don't feel that momentum all the way through, and I do. I actually love the idea I think it definitely slows down towards the third act, which I think is probably one of my least favorite third acts of this franchise. But right away, because of what happens at the end of 2, everyone's trying to kill John Wick. And I do feel the intensity for most part. I think if the movie was like an hour 45, an hour 50, you would have felt that the whole movie. But once it kind of goes over 2 hours, I think the movie definitely stretches its length for a bit too long. I also think we have one of the best side characters in the franchise. With Halle Berry's Sophia, not in the movie that much, but her portion in the second act of this movie is fantastic. The coordination with the dogs was tons of fun. And I just love Halle Berry in this movie. And I wish we got to see more of Halle Berry in these type of movies with giving this type of performance and as badass as she is. She's got a lot of chances to be the action hero. I think this is the true form of how the greatness of really what Halle Berry is. And she's used to perfection in this movie. Also, with when you get to the high table in this movie, the intensity of the high table, trying to take away the Continental from Winston, and also taking it away from Lawrence Fishburne's character, the Bowery King. The whole idea of the high table being added into this movie was also just a great touch. And again, adds to the great mythology of the movie. Also getting to finally see kind of a piece of John's family with the director of the ballerinas, played by Angelica Houston, which is that scene is setting up for the Ana de Armas ballerina movie, which is coming out next year, which I believe Angelica Houston and obviously Keanu Reeves will be returning for. And she is returning for Ballerina. That movie's in foreign post-production. It's supposed to come out June 7th of next year, which takes place in between John Wick 3 and 4. So that was a good setup. But overall, I guess I said the third act really comes to a halt. The whole throwing through the glass scene, that is I think one of the only action scenes in the entire franchise that really drags. It feels like they're doing the same thing over and over again. And the big boss at the end of the day, Zero, played by Mark Dacascos, was definitely also one of the probably the least interesting big bad ending battle, big boss fight that we got in this franchise so far. Coming in number 2 for me is the very first John Wick film. It is a genius movie when you think about at the time when it came out. Again, no one was really talking about it. They thought it was a throwaway direct-to-DVD Keanu Reeves action movie. But what obviously is taking this franchise to the next level, and what really kickstarted it was this movie, was the action scenes, the stunt performances, and it's a very old school throwback movie. It's a simple movie, and what people want to joke is that it's a movie about killing his dog, following the loss of his wife, the wife giving him the present of this dog, but kind of being her last memory to him, and then the dog being killed right away. Really sets this movie in motion. I do think this is the most focused, and I think it's clearly by far the best story that the franchise has ever had. And I think I've had maybe some more fun at John Wick Chapter 3, especially towards the first 2 acts. But from a story point of view, this is certainly the best story in the franchise. It's a focused thriller, revenge thriller, with John Wick having some amazing action scenes. I do think that what holds this movie back is that you want the person you want to kill at the end of the day is Alfie Allen's character, who is the one who's the son of the kind of the big bad of the movie. And we kill him off with like 30 minutes left of the movie. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, so got the guy who killed our dog. And then we get the old guy action scene at the end. And I just could not believe the old guy was ever a threat to John Wick. But again, the mythology is great, that this guy who was a all-time assassin, retired, stayed away, put the whole side of his life behind him, and is now brought back. Now, that's a very story you've seen before, but when you John Wick it, with the way they do the mythology and the world building, it makes the movie so much more interesting. And obviously, Keanu is a great action hero. He's become one of the greatest action heroes of our time. And this movie really kickstarted a lot of things, not just for the action genre, but also the stunt performance genre, really. Of all these stunt performers getting a chance to pull off all these sensational action scenes in the first movie really kickstarted that. But ending up for me, it is John Wick Chapter 4 and number 1, the longest movie of this entire franchise, over an hour longer than the first film. But I love this movie. I have not stopped thinking about it since I saw it. It's some of the best action I've ever seen in an action movie. And there's 5 or 6 action set pieces that if one of them was in a single action movie for another franchise, they would kill to have one of these 4 or 5 action scenes in the movie. But this movie has, as I said, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 action scenes that really are fantastic. Obviously, this intensity of this possible duel, again, the world building of Winston having the Continental blow up. He needs his right, and there's again, it's still the high table led by this movie by Bill Skarsgård going after John Wick in this movie was very interesting. I think this is also by far one of the best side characters that I've seen this entire franchise. Donnie Yen's character, for me, is easily one of the best action side heroes or side characters I've seen in a very long time. Again, he plays another blind guy like he does in Rogue One, but he is one of the coolest characters I've seen in an action movie in a long time. And they do a great job of building that relationship between John Wick and Kane, played by Donnie Yen. You do feel like literally 30, 45 minutes into the movie that it is inevitable that the ending fight has to be between John and Kane. And even if Kane respects John, still thinks he's friends, that fight still needs to happen. Also, I said Bill Skarsgård was a great upgrade added to this franchise, as well as Shamir Anderson's Tracker, who is, Mr. Nobody. He gets a lot of added into it that he wants John Wick killed, but he wants it at a certain price. He's also just a decent human being, I guess, in this situation, might not be. But also, you get the Japan sequence was fantastic. Going to Paris, to New York, all the locations, you can clearly tell they shot on location in the desert. They shot on location for all of these. And it's one of the most beautiful action movies I've ever seen. From the direction, the cinematography, it's a gorgeous movie to look at. And the little that the action scenes breathe in this movie, especially that one shot when John Wick's like beating people up in this apartment and they go overhead. It's like feel like a one take of this overhead shot of John Wick killing these people. The action's fantastic. The stairs scene in Paris. But then you get to obviously the big conclusion of the duel, which is such great world building for this franchise of John and Kane. And obviously, Kane shoots John, and Bill Skarsgård's character gets very full of himself, the Marquis, and he's like, see ya, John. And then, Winston's like, you're stupid. You're an idiot and you're an arrogant moron. And John hasn't shot yet. And then John kills the Marquis. They go back, him and Kane go back in their own way. And John does die in this movie. And I think we all kind of wasn't expecting it. But when the movie came out a couple days later, they did say this would be the final John Wick film. Now, since then, since the movie's done so well, they have considered going back to John Wick Chapter 5, but it really all comes down to Keanu Reeves and probably Chad Stahelski, who has directed all 4 of these movies in this franchise. And really also what Keanu Reeves wants to do for his career moving forward. This has been, again, career-defining performance. It was Neo in the late 90s, and now in the mid-2000s, it's been John Wick for Keanu. But and obviously the post-credit scene was picking up with the daughter of Hiroki Sanada, the singer Rina Sawayama, possibly trying to kill Kane when Kane's listening to his daughter, possibly setting up another thing down the line, which, again, if we get more Kane with more Donnie Yen, I am totally down for. So that is my ranking video of the John Wick franchise. I'm so happy to be doing the John Wick franchise for this video. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel, comment down below. More videos are coming soon, and I'll see you guys soon.